This will be a short statement about Elon Musk, Grok AI. And it refers to a man who's so intuitively intelligence that you don't have to tell him what to do as far as prevention is concerned when he's at 2040. You can eliminate patients. You can eliminate doctors because they always think you're a patient and they need to talk down to you. If you have to talk down to a person, you're wasting his time. You're wasting your time also. There are people who hear the plus and say, oh, I'll try that for a couple of months and see what happens. That does not work. Prevention is getting rid of close work long term with plus. It's not for children. It's not for doctors. It's not for patients. It's for a person who understands the eye as a dynamic system it always has been and can integrate that knowledge into his own prevention efforts. And that does include using his own Snellen to slowly go from negative refractive state of, let's say, -0.5 to plus refraction. And I mean better than 2020, but I must define it this way: personal measurement, where your reading 2020 line can hold a +0.5 diopter and still read the 2020 line. But let me compromise a little bit, make it easier for you. That would mean using the 2040 line, since better than 2040 passes all DMV requirements. And I would say 2040, both eyes, personally measured. That means literally long-term plus wear. If you're trying to figure out a way to get around that, forget it. You're not going to succeed. This message literally was from Jacob Rafelson, who tried to deal with the ignorant public. Total failure. Public's ignorance, can't do anything. Should say that to start. That's why I use Grok when talking about a man or a person who has an intuitive understanding of science, physics, and wants to start on prevention when he's 2050. I could go through a few details that are convincing to me from Jacob Rafelson, from Francis Young. And the reason a person must be intelligent, he must understand what is to be done, or it won't work. And from Francis Young's study, they used the plus on a child, and that should be a starter. That's a good point. Did it work? And the problem is you can't throw a plus lens at a person and expect him to use it correctly, or that will even work. But you can force a child to use a plus. And that was a bifocal or no focal. So they put a plus on the kids, and the nature of the plus is you pull up close. And the effect of pulling up close, not understanding, is you've erased the whole intention of the plus, because the kid in fact did that. That's why prevention must be intelligence in the person. So a kid will do this with a plus, and it destroyed the whole purpose of what's going on. That's why Grok must apply to the person. If the person's an engineer and understands that all eyes are dynamic, and going from slight plus to minus in terms of refractive state, he'll put the plus lens on and push away until you see with the +2.5, find a point where it just blurs. And that will be typically 20 inches, assuming you had 20/50 on his Snellen. And that is how he will do his reading. A child will do this. A Grok man will do the right thing himself, and he will be personally measuring his own refractive state. Now, the thing I have not done is to show you how to use a Snellen set for 2050 or 40, and that is the handheld cell phone Snellen. But so that was Frank Young's study with the plus on children. And plain minus, the kids went down a steady half diopter. The plus, the kids leveled out. They did not go down, which is the whole goal, but they did not go up, which is a key point. That's why it has to be a Grok man to understand what the hell he's supposed to be doing. If he doesn't understand that, he won't do it. You can't do this with children because they won't do it, and the parents won't understand it either. So that really reduces who can be successful with a plus lens on their 2050. I count myself as being successful simply because I had a chance to be successful and engineer enough to realize there is no choice but long-term plus wear. So if I were really going to do this with the person would have his own test lenses. It's not hard to learn how to use it. It's completely legal as long as the eye's a dynamic control system and you make the measurement, which is exactly what I'm doing. So a shout out for Elon Musk and his Grok active intelligence. Unfortunately, if you're a patient, you're not considered to have any active intelligence at all, which is why this effort must be removed from optometry or conduct by optometrists, because they treat you like you don't know anything. And all the studies they conduct, it's exactly that way. They treat you like a patient, and nothing will work. So if you ever think of a way that could work, then the concept came from the book A Stranger in a Stranger Land in the 1960s, defining a man who truly understood science and logic, such that you didn't have to tell him how to do it. He would intuitively do it. That would include making your measurement yourself as fundamental scientific truth. If you don't understand it that way, you will not be successful. And the only truth I can see is that rather than throwing a plus lens at a child, the person has the education to understand the consequences of not wearing a plus when he's at 2050, to go from a negative refractive state to a positive refractive state, all personally measured. You cannot do this with a retinoscope. It does not work that way. So it's all objective, it's all pure science, and it's all you do it yourself with some support of other engineers. Otherwise, it will not work. And do not even bother attempting to do anything, because you will fail completely. Add your own commentary, and thanks to Elon Musk for his website on the general idea. Add your own commentary. Thank you.